I see that.
It's God's side and the other side.
Oh!
All lies will be exposed.
Oh my God! Certified lover boy, certified what?
What? Kendrick, stop!
And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way.
This man won 5 Grammys off of one song.
The Grammy goes to...
The Grammy goes to...
Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar.
There's no discussion anymore, bro. Kendrick has won the beef.
You know, at the end of the day, past all the politics, past all the numbers, it's what music make you feel.
Back.
You are a part of the generation who were a kid when there were the riots in LA.
Yeah.
And
See, I was there.
But did it still affect you back then or in your family? Or?
It definitely affected us back then, you know. Anytime I smell smoke, some type of smoke, I think of Rodney King Raps. It's a certain smell, and wood is burning, and shit like that is burning. That triggers for sure as far as my memory.
There's smoke everywhere. My pops had a bunch of rims, car rims in the backseat, because he just came out to swap meet and took like a whole bunch of rims. Went back to the house, then he came back again and had like a refrigerator or something like that.
you are the generation who saw a black president, but you are the generation who saw many black people still killed by the policemen.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to live in that schizophrenia?
It's tough. It's really tough, especially growing up in the city of Compton, because it's so easy to get your hands on negative. Basically coming to grips with reality, saying I'm a teenager, I'm out here. It's a possibly chance that I won't see tomorrow.
Damn.
Do I have this right? You saw your first murder when you were 5 years old?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
It was outside my apartment unit. A guy was out there serving his narcotics, and somebody rolled up and with a shotgun blew his chest out. These stories are so serious and so in-depth. It's just about me seeing somebody get killed. Just as a kid, yeah. Being right there and knowing how it all went down, you feel me? Immediately, it done something to me right then and there to let me know that this is not only something that, you know, I'm looking at, but it's something that maybe I have to get used to.
A kid shouldn't have to get used to violence, shouldn't have to get used to unalivings at such a young age, man. Dang, this is sad.
You know, it starts with my family in Chicago. I came straight to Compton in '84, had me in '87, so the gang culture was always in my life. I was raised inside the gang culture. My parents were fairly young, you know, so I actually grew up with them. And I was in a household where they partied and they had fun. And me being in a household with all these house parties, you know, my parents being young, it was a new life for me. It was a fast life. And me being the only kid, I got to witness all of that.
Was your dad in a gang or something?
Yeah, he's affiliated.
He was affiliated.
Mm.
So your dad's in a gang. They decide to move to Compton.
Right.
How do you avoid getting into the gang lifestyle in Compton when your dad is not telling you it's a bad thing? And
Well, he's actually telling me. I was probably like the only one out of my friends. I had about 30 friends in the neighborhood. And the only one that had a pops there every day telling me, yo, don't do that. My pops did what he had to do, you know, to put food on the table. You know, sometimes it wasn't always, you know, the super legit way. And me being young, I was a pretty wise kid. I knew what he was doing, you feel me? This is, for a minute, it made me like, I want to be just like him. As I grew as a person, you know, I had to make the choice, and I found out what was right and what was wrong. I think at the end of the day, it made me into a positive person. I mean, living in the crazy city, that's my whole story.
California Love.
This is a solid story right here. Like, there's so many rappers who want to come from this life. They want to have this rags to riches story. Not every rapper could give their testimony and is this authentic. This is true authenticity right here.
So you were on the set of the video when you were like 8?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get on the set?
I was around 8 years old. They were shooting a video in my neighborhood in Compton. My father seen him, went 2 blocks down, got me. By the time he got me, everybody was out there. It was like pandemonium, you know. He put me on his shoulders, and there they was, Dr. Dre and Tupac right there, and I think it was a white Bentley. That moment right there, whether I know it or not, subconsciously, I think it eventually branched me off to what I'm doing now. You know, it was already designed in destiny. That day I said, I want to have an influence like that on all these little kids. 15 years later, I meet Dr. Dre and I explain that story to him when I seen him, and he remembered that exact same moment. Wow. And remember them kids that was out there. And I said, Dre, I was one of them kids that was there.
I was raised around music my whole life. You know what I mean? From gangster rap to oldies.
Since he was born, I brought him home listening to like stuff like NWA, rap, oldies, everything. That's probably how he got inspired.
It was inevitable. I really was a big Pac fan. You know, Pac passed, it was a void that was missing in hip-hop. DMX came out.
I started writing because DMX, first album, when he came out, because it was a void that was missing. I need to hear some real shit that motherfuckers that I can relate to.
And as a kid, I connected with it, you know, because I see my older cousins going through the same type of feelings and emotion that these artists are going through.
I'm so far ahead of my time. I got people 5 years from now pressing rewind.
I wrote my first rhyme when I was 13 years old.
I was just rapping about killing people. Oh man, I think I probably killed about 30 people in like 2 bars. I done sold this amount of dope. Because that's all we've seen. That's all, you know, that was around us at the time. And the city relate to that.
It's your boy K-Dot, giving a shout out Dub CNN.
Before the world knew me as a Kendrick Lamar, I was K-Dot.
The nickname, that been inquired since I was a kid, just being in the neighborhood. That name will always be there. You know, I go back to the city now, they don't call me Kendrick.
I jumped in the booth at 16, did my first mixtape, the youngest head in charge, and I wanted to start in Compton, so I spread it out at the school, Centennial High School, the school I went to in Compton.
That was the era when I was a student of the game. I was studying everybody, people from Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, or DMX, to Wayne.
It took really a lot of years of just preparation.
All that progressed, you know, me constantly standing in the studio, practicing, putting these tapes out, training today. Kendrick Lamar, EP, O.D. That's just constant practice, constant practice.
It caught the buzz, man, and it caught the ear of a cat named Dog. That was in the industry, somebody we looked up to in the neighborhood.
I remember Top said on the side of the boys, like, go in the booth. Let me see if this really you rapping. He put me in the booth and I freestyle for like 2 hours before he said, okay, this really you. And that was the beginning of my test.
And I've been with him since I was 16, man, Top Dog Entertainment.
He grabbed me and J-Rock off the streets. Get in the studio, do something better with your life.
They basically developed me to where I'm at today. You know, locked me in the booth and make me study my craft.
We had nowhere to go. You know, all in the same studio. The more and more we was in there, we built a brotherly bond.
Myself, Schoolboy Q, Absol, J-Rock, Black Hippie, Carefree. You know, that's the meaning behind that title.
We feel like we have our own style and our own sound, and, you know, we're not confined with what the industry wants us to do or what radio wants us to do.
Man, I'm in the city of Compton, checking out my man. You might know him. He goes by the name of K-Dot, but recently changed his name to
Kendrick Lamar. K-Dot was a student of the game, just learning his niches. And by the time I became my own person, you know, Kendrick Lamar came and have more story and more details than what I'm talking about, and more concept, you know. I felt like these people need to know who I am, not just a person out here rapping like every other person in the world, you know what I mean? Well, I felt like it was a time for the world to know me as a person, rather than just a person that can rap 100 bars.
It was not only a different name, but a different approach in the music style, you know, that actually stood out from the rest of the pack.
It feels like when you change your name to Kendrick Lamar, that's when a change happened in your career. Like you start to get noticed by different people, and it was like you took a different turn.
Right. What was like that first moment where you thought like, wow, this is actually turning a corner? Like people are really getting it.
I think it had to be the Kendrick Lamar EP. When I did the Kendrick Lamar EP, it had more substance and more of me in it. Started to realize that the more I did that type of music, more people was relating to me. That was basically me introducing myself to the world. Like I said, where I'm from and who I am. Put out the Kendrick Lamar O.D. That was an extension of that, giving them more of me, overdosing on me. And right now, I'm working on a project called Section 8.
Bro, that's crazy. He went to the same school Dr. Dre went to. Also, when Top Dog had put him into the studio, he said, yo, I want to know if that's really you. Eminem did the same thing to him. I want to see if that's really you writing these rhymes. Leave your friends outside. Another thing I want to expound on is that his pops introduced him to different categories of music, different genres. This is why he's able to tap in to different sounds. He's able to tap into the jazz sound. He's able to get into his fast rapping. He's able to get into this and that because look where he was rooted, you know, where he's from.
Section 80, it means a generation.
of my generation. When I said Section 80, I talked about everybody from 1980 to 2011. Teenagers, young adults, just going through the trials and tribulations of becoming an adult and being responsible. I want them to know that I'm not talking to them. I'm actually talking with them.
It's me times 10 for Kendrick Lamar D. Section 80 is you times 10. I feel like I accomplished it because I go in these streets and they be like, man, yeah, you did it for it. I had got a lot of criticism on that album cover. People think that if you have a Bible, it's supposed to be some holy water on the side of it. That's a person that's already, saved. I'm not speaking on them. They're good. I'm speaking on a person that's looking at this clip we just put on the drawer, these condoms, a woman's lipstick, and sees this Bible, showing that he's still a human being, but he's trying to find himself at the same time. That was the
talk that talk.
Whole point. I definitely expected the impact that Section 8 has, only because, I think I executed it well to where, it made sense to everybody.
You got the torch, you better run with that. You better run with it, because it's yours.
So you're on stage now, and you've got Dre, you got Snoop, and you got The Game, and then they crown you the new king of West Coast. How does that feel?
Man, it feels great. That's a lot of responsibility for sure. Man, these is heroes to me. For them to come back full circle and embrace me, man, it feels like the grind and the dedication really pays off at the end of the day. That's how I feel. Feel good. That moment right there was all them emotions coming out, on stage from the hurt, and the struggle that my family been through. The ones I lost, the ones that want to see me make it, but, didn't get to see that moment. All that came out on that very stage. I don't think they really understand the story all the way, how more in depth the story really is of my life of growing up in the city. As far as I put out there, I'm just the good kid in the mad city. You know what I mean? I put out the positive out there, but they don't know the negatives I had to go through yet.
My inspiration came from me growing up in Compton. My album represents one day of me living in the city.
A story about, a group of teens just trying to figure their way out, trying their best to escape the influences. It took me my whole life to write this album. All my achievements, all my failures, everything is within this album.
The album is really about me moving on with my life, moving on from the past. Everybody knows Kendrick Lamar for, who I am now. But in order to gain that insight, I had to come from this place. This place of loneliness, darkness, evil. Nobody knows that.
I talk about murder, I talk about violence, I talk about all of that. But the backstory behind it is who gives the consequences for it? Who going to pay for these things? Not to glorify it, to educate you on it, to know that it's real.
A lot of people think it's really just, about me, but it's really a reflection on the people I grew up around. A lot of people that they call delinquents.
I embrace alcoholism, gang violence, brutality on my people, simply because it's topics that I'm most familiar with. It's hard to stop a habit. This is what we've been seeing since 1-2 years old inside the family.
The half of the story of kids in Compton is just basically good kids in the mad city. I feel that we are good kids in the mad city. You know what I mean? It all stems from being a kid, and it's just the shit you exposed to. You know what I mean? I was exposed to it too.
From Compton, I could have easily came out and said, I did this, I did that. I done killed a whole bunch of niggas out in front of just giving off fact where I'm from. But that ain't me. I'd rather talk about my reality. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather talk about something a little bit more deeper than that.
I'm doing it in a way where it's respectable, not only from them, but from the world. I'm not putting a bad name, in the cities. Compton got so much negativity, and like we're not capable of anything else. And I feel like music was, a positive light. I go through these neighborhoods, and they say, keep telling the message, keep telling our story, and keep putting a twist on it rather than just glorifying it. That gives me, enough hope and enough encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing rather than...
Y'all hear that? Instead of glorifying it, he could have easily came out and said, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. Instead of glorifying it, because when you glorify it, the youngins that's out here, they're going to look at it as that's something cool. I need to do this. I need to choose negativity. Keep perpetuating the same cycle over and over.
Let the media portray something that, they think just to sell records. I always had this premeditated that it was going to be my album cover for years, because it represents so much, not only the household I grew up in, but just a lot of people's lives that just came up, you know, in the ghetto and in urban neighborhoods. That's my uncle right here. Both of them are uncles.
Okay.
All the way to the right, that's my grandfather.
And a baby bottle next to a 40 ounce, next to a gang sign, holding a kid. Like this is, it's not just music to me. It's not just music to me. Like, this is a story.
Storytelling was the whole niche of this album. I want to bring that back into the game. I just go through a breakdown if I'm reading a book, you know, and how I want people to hear this from a book sequence. And I just thought of this crazy, you know, idea to tell this story about, you know, my life, you know, a situation that happened in my life in one day, you know, and make it a short film. You know, it's not 25 years, you know, and an album is just that one day. And that's a short film to me.
We're in the era of ringtone rap. We're in the era of where rappers, it's all about the hooks.
What kind of deal with the devil did you make to be able to make good music and actually be getting attention for it?
I make albums that have that type of longevity. If not, I can just give you a whole bunch of singles on one record. I make albums where I want you to go back and listen to 100 times. I love fun records. I love having fun. I love records that's on the radio, but it also needs that balance. And that's what I think I'm here for.
It's been a tremendous year, man. A lot of accolades. A lot of people enjoy the album. I've been touring all around the world, you know, from this album and just seeing people respond and how they relate to it. So it's been a very, very productive year. Great reception, great response, great numbers, great reviews. The album dropped, and then the same thing that's been happening with my, you know, career since day one, just word of mouth. I feel great about it, knowing for the fact, you know, I went into this album making sure I didn't do nothing half-stepping. You know, I wanted 110% just greatness and, you know, keeping it original as possible. And I'm glad that everybody's aware of that and recognize it for that.
He's dope. That's what you wanted to know? What I thought about Kendrick?
I know you saw Pharrell's tweet. Are you saying this era is Bob Dylan?
Crazy.
Yo, he one of the next out of Compton. He's one of the next, to me, in America, period. He's one of the next.
And the Grammy goes to Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Kendrick, your friend. Bruh, I remember, man, everybody had a fit when this came out. They said, huh? Even Macklemore said, oh, I don't deserve this. Nah, get this to Kendrick. This ain't mine.
Lamar, he's somebody that I love his music, and in my opinion, had the best rap album of the year. Yep. I think we made a great album. I think that Kendrick made a better rap album.
Did you ever feel any way about him posting the text message or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it was uncalled for, to be 100 with you. I think for confirmation from the world, you know, he probably felt like he had to put it out there, which he didn't need to do. He didn't need to do, but you're a cool dude. But, you know, sometimes the card folds like that.
What do you want people to say about the album, you know, 24 hours after? I mean,
what do I
is it
want
going to be a
people-
classic?
Yeah, 10 years down the line, it'll be a classic. They will be calling it classic.
Yeah,
they definitely will be, because I went in the studio making sure I did nothing less, you know, than something that's classic worthy. Right now, it's a great album.
3 mixtapes in, 1 commercial album.
That had to happen. That had to happen. That whole Macklemore situation, that had to happen so we could go back and see how they feel about our people's succeeding, our people's greatness. They need to see stuff like that. They need to see it.
Album.
Right.
What's going on with album number 2?
It's in the process.
It's in the process?
We cooking. You know what's funny, man? After my first album, Good Kid, Mad City, was like a super commercial success. I knew I wouldn't be able to give that experience again. I went into this album knowing that I couldn't remake a Good Kid, Mad City. It wouldn't be a Good Kid, Mad City Part 2, none of that.
Your second album is always put in the industry to be your commercial outbreak, your huge commercial outbreak. You know, and you want to have these type of radio records. But for the simple fact saying I want to
Man, shout out Rob Markman, man.
do it my way, it shows a lot of courage and a lot of integrity. When I went to Africa and I got to see other people's problems, you know, they struggle like 10 times harder Going out there really inspired. I wrote a lot of records off the album just by visiting South Africa.
It really not only catapulted that album, but just my experience as a human. Knowing that it was a bigger world than the reality I lived in. To get out of Compton and see other places around the world, that's not just what I know.
This whole time, my whole youth until my teenage years, to my early adulthood, I felt like this four corners, these 4 blocks of Compton, that's it. There's nothing outside of that. Like, you can't tell me no different.
When I say we didn't have a Caucasian kid from elementary, middle school to high school, I never seen one. I'm serious. Taking, a group of people, that haven't seen the world and put them in these places that they haven't necessarily seen only on TV. It was me explaining my experiences and what emotions have brought up from that experience and tell them like, yo, it's something bigger than Compton and where we from. Showing them something different.
He said he didn't see not one Caucasian kid growing up in school. That is wild. So he grew up knowing that it was a divide, knowing that it was a separation. He knew that. Them people said, nah, my kids ain't going to that school that he going to. The same school Dr. Dre went to. He grew up knowing that it was a division.
Different other than the neighborhood and them being excited about it. That's why you have all them wild faces on there.
Does the crew come out every time you come to Compton?
Yeah. Yeah.
The feeling was missing home. The feeling was I should be with my family right now when they're going through hardships with the loss of my dearly friends that's constantly passing while I'm out on this road. I probably lost more friends in this past summer than any other summer. Chad Keaton, he was like my little brother, and he was on the right path. But, things happen where, sometimes the good are in the wrong places, and that's exactly what happened.
What happened to him?
He got shot.
And have to hear about his passing, it messes you up. All the way.
When I say gangbang and make me kill a blacker than me, this is my life. I'm not speaking to the community. I'm not speaking of the community. I am the community. And I still deal with these situations today where I have hate towards another guy because he killed my homeboy while I'm on tour. If I still feel like that, then I'm part of the problem rather than the solution. It messes your brain up because you live in this life. You still have to face realities of this. I got to get back off that tour bus and go to these funerals, and go talk to my moms and talk to their aunties, the kids that lost their lives.
I'm learning to deal with the responsibility of, being someone that the kids actually look up to.
And I hated the word role model, but you can't run from it. Like I said, when I went out to these shows and I seen these kids saying, we live by your music and what you're talking about, that's something that you got to accept.
And the Grammy goes to Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar.
You got most Grammy nominations for a rapper in a year. You made history already.
#1 album 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
But he doesn't care about all that. He doesn't care about all that.
You can have the platinum album, when you still feel like you haven't found your place in the world. It kind of gives a crazy offset when you still feel like you're not comfortable. Where's the feeling in that? We gon' be all right. Winning awards and accolades is great, but it's not confirmation of success for me. The success of that record didn't come from the accolades and the awards. For me, it came from people going out there and singing all right in the middle of these streets and taking pride and dignity into where they come from and where they want to go.
We gon' be all right. Did you catch that?
Now you can see why they want to shut us up. Words are so powerful, they inspire people to do better. This is why they want us to shut up. This is why they don't want us to have a voice, y'all.
Lamar stated his views on police brutality with that line in the song, quote, and we hate the po-po, want to kill us in the street, faux show.
Not helpful at all. This is why I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans than racism in recent years.
How can you take a song that's about hope and turn it into hatred? You know what I'm saying? The message, the overall message is we gonna be all right. It's not the message of I want to kill people.
Please. I don't like it.
To Pimp a Butterfly would be the thought of changing the world. Damn would be the idea of I can't change the world until I change myself.
I think Damn is a hybrid of all these projects. It was me finally being able to take the message behind the Pimp a Butterfly, the sonics, and the beats slapping on Good Kid, and the rawness of just being able to do what I want like I did on Section 80. And I take all three of these, it makes a hybrid of Damn for me. And we wanted to make it for all arenas. Car, we want you to be in the club, you say flying, listen to it and just vibing to it. At the same time, we want to have some lyrical content where it connect emotions you can relate to. You know what I mean?
Why
So,
Damn?
it was so many different ways you could put it in my head. It was like from the concept, damn if I do, damn if I don't. The loudness of the record, it just screamed that in my face. When I think of DNA, when I think of Humble, when I think about these records, it just felt like that.
Why just a single word for every song?
I write a verse and do the whole song, and then I feel or look at words that I feel like capture that emotion.
That word comes across in some of the lyrics, and I just pull that word out. That actual word is what represents the whole idea of the song.
When that stroke just went viral.
Well, what does it feel like to be on stage and see your fans singing and rapping the words back to you?
Man, it's an incredible feeling. I always go back
He been packing these arenas, man. Stop playing, man.
to this moment I write the lyrics, and to see people rapping these lyrics from that raw emotion, from the feelings that I was feeling at the moment, you know, that's magic to me.
The Grammy goes to Damn, Kendrick Lamar.
Congratulations, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
So forever, I really appreciate this moment. I'm always had love for y'all. I will be back.
Cities across the United States remain in a state of high tension tonight as the country braces itself for another wave of protests over the death of George Floyd.
I wanted to live forever, you dig what I'm saying? And To Pimp a Butterfly is one of the moments where 20 years from now, you know, it'll probably be a little bit more prevalent than it is today.
And one of the celebrities or artists that's been quiet is Kendrick Lamar.
He should be doing something. You cannot stay quiet when your entire platform for the last 6 years has been Black Lives Matter.
Kendrick? Did you hear that, Kendrick?
That goes to show you that he wasn't doing it for the excitement for everybody to be like, oh, look at him. He was doing it from the heart. So now when everybody else is doing it, don't expect for him to just come out and, no, he is not your savior. I choose me, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
You always reveal a lot, but it sounds like your most personal body of work.
Yeah, this is my most present. I've had a hard time expressing that vulnerability in person with people, but I found a way to express it through music. That was my way of communicating.
During that process, I made the album, and it was therapy for me because in these certain circumstances of trying to communicate, you get a little bit insecure. You start doubting yourself. You start wondering why you're here.
Because that was my most intimate. I want to go inside of my own psyche and my own personal withdrawals and see how it connects with the public and who can relate.
One of my favorite lines in the album is where we say, you really need to go to therapy. And I say, real niggas don't go to therapy. Because that's how niggas feel, you know what I'm saying? We grow up where our parents don't know about that, our grandparents don't know about that. You live and you experience the shit that you go through and you deal with it right then and there, or you don't never deal with it.
We forget that if we're stronger on the inner core, ain't nothing nobody else can do.
I didn't know you were suffering from depression the way you said you was on the album.
Is this real? Is there poetic license? Like where did that come from? What prompted that?
It's a drastic change when you're around so many different faces that you don't quite understand and meet different people, and things are going on back home that it's out of your control to handle. You know what I'm saying?
How can I really have love for my partner next to me, you know, if I don't know who I am? How can I have love for my city if I don't know who I am?
First and foremost, I want to thank my family for giving me the courage, you know, and the the vulnerability to share these stories and share my truth with this album.
They're talking about us. Talking about you. He's talking about us. He's talking about his family. Yeah.
Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, Jay Electron, Tyler McMillan. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas.
Did you know when you went in just to do that verse that it would take and it would have this kind of impact?
No, I didn't know until after you see the hooray and hoorah about it. The fact that hip hop hasn't been shaken up in a long time. Hip hop is a sport, so you're gonna have these little spits and spats, and it's all good because personally I respect these dudes as as people. I think people forgot that I'm actually from the West Coast. The aggression that we have in our music, I can't run from that. My intent was to always keep, I think from day one was to always keep the nature of it as a sport. This has always been the core definition of who I am. That's all. I'm influenced by Cube. I'm influenced by Dre. I grew up off gangster rap, and that aggression will always be in me.
All of a sudden, it just fucked the whole game up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Drake is here. It's Hot 97. You should get into a rap battle.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
I feel like that's just.
I
feel like those things are of the moment.
He's giving people like moments.
We're here, everybody. I didn't even think it would come to this. I thought it was gonna be all about Kendrick. But you gotta add him into it. They sent him to soften up the game. That's why the game was so rattled, because it was transitioning into being soft. SOF capital T, soft.
Like that verse was a moment to talk about. Are you listening to it now at this point in time? Okay.
But you seem just now a little irritated by it. No?
Really? It was real cool for a couple weeks. But if I asked you, for example, how does that verse start?
I see dead people.
Fight is over.
The Grammy goes to Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar.
You just came off a huge Grammy wins. You walked away with 5 awards. It has been a little bit mind-bending that you created this massive cultural award-winning anthem out of a battle rap song.
I just think about the culture, really. When people talk about rap, man, the conversations I hear, they think it's just rap and it's not an actual art form. So I love to see that it gets that type of recognition for just straight raps, from awards to the billboards, all that, because this is just as big as an art form and a genre as any other genre.
Juneteenth, Kendrick Lamar announced a concert called Pop Out.
Every section, every known and probably unknown section of LA's gang members were in one place at the same time. By any other metric of any other time, they would be in the streets killing each other. And now they're all inside in one place right now. Maybe for the good of unity, the good of the community, maybe Drake should try one more time.
Yes, it did.
I wanted to go back to the forefront of just the bite and just the grit of rap. Just all raps and hard-ass beats. That's like the basics for me. I thought about, what I used to like when I was a kid. Hard raps, good beats. That's smacking, right? So I always had that DNA. And you heard that DNA a little bit on Good Kid, Mad City, but I wanted to tell my story first, right? Fast forward to GNX, I felt it was just a perfect time because not only the energy was lost, but it was the energy that was bubbling inside of me as well. It was a great transition from Mr. Morale because that was my most intimate. I wanted to go inside of my own psyche and my own personal withdrawals and see how it connects with the public and who can relate. During this time around, I think it was necessary of coming out of that cocoon and feeling like, okay, I arrived now. I can spread my wings and show every state of who I am as far as Kendrick Lamar. What the deal, everybody? My name Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59. Will you be pulling up? I hope so.
Did you ever think we'd be at the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl.
You never thought about the Super Bowl
I
with
wasn't
this?
thinking about no Super Bowl for sure.
Seeing you perform with Dr. Dre at the halftime show 3 years ago, we already felt like that was the most hip-hop, beautiful halftime show ever. And now for you to come back and be the first solo hip-hop artist to headline, how does it feel being the artist to hit that milestone? And, you know, just your thoughts on what that means about hip-hop's progression and impact over the years.
For me, that should mean everything because it puts the culture on the forefront where it needs to be and not minimized to just a catchy song or verse. This is a true art form. So to represent it on this type of stage is like, I don't take it for granted at all as far as an art form, you know?
Kendrick Lamar's Compton. Kendrick Lamar's the county building that me and my moms had to walk to every month. Kendrick Lamar's an everyday person telling stories about lives that, you know, reflect not only me, but the people that's listening. You know, Kendrick Lamar is a human being, period. You know, no gimmicks, no nothing. I display emotions of feeling, hurt, pain, depression, happiness. You know, and I think I'm just, yeah, that's the right word for it, a human being. That's Kendrick.
Wow. 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 I'm lost for words. I am lost for words. Now, what we just seen was an amazing video from Bakari. I don't know how to say that name, but look, that was official. I loved it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section about that good movie. It ain't even no video. That was a movie. Big Kish signing out. Going, y'all.